The F-35 is the most striking proof of the military-industrial complex in existence. It is a highly over-budget plane that was promised to revolutionize air combat using its helmet of all things that's supposed to give you touchscreen and all sorts of useful information to the pilot, but is in fact being proven to be over-budget, inferior to its predecessors, losing test dogfights. Yet it's still being funded and constructed as we speak. This is because of a conspiracy dating back to 1945. The Zero was a fighter that debuted during World War II, or the start of the conspiracy. It was a maneuver fighter. Unlike European energy fighters, which used altitude and speed in an attempt to kill an enemy like the American P-80, the Zero was a maneuver fighter. It used the ability to turn and then turn fight with enemies to kill it from behind. You see, most fighter planes at the time only had forward-facing guns, meaning they couldn't shoot backwards, and even they couldn't shoot backwards, they had no way to aim, because the pilot couldn't see behind them and fly the plane at the same time. So the Zero was able to get behind the plane, shoot at it without the opponent being able to shoot at it, and if it tried to turn, Zero was able to turn faster and tighter than it. And so the Zero was superior, and was used to devastating effect during Pearl Harbor, where it managed to neutralize most of the American Navy Air Force and almost end World War II. The Japanese lost due to reasons not related to the Zero, but instead by secret weapons developed by the Allies that used the better. But um, but following the war, curiously, no more maneuver fighters were made. Almost all research was focused on radar and other expensive electronics in fighters, instead of using maneuver and speed, basic elements for fighting. This is because many aeronautical engineers and military industrialists realized that if maneuver fighters became popular and policymakers realized their power, speed, and how they could dominate air combat cheaply, there would be no money for them. So they formed a conspiracy with aeronautical engineers to publish papers and all, debunking them and instead promoting radars, electronics, supersonic speed, and other expensive fancy gizmos that are actually unnecessary towards a proper fighter instead of focusing on maneuver fighters. Very few fighters focusing on maneuver were made until the 1980s, where Thierry Spire and other people in the fighter mafia began championing for lightweight cool fighters. This form ended in the F-16, a hugely successful fighter that was cheap and effective. They also believed that instead of using air support, using expensive radar, GPS track bombs, and instead should be flying low, close to the ground, so the person could see what he was firing at. This resulted in A-10, a legendary plane that was used to great effect during the Gulf War. The A-10 was a very popular plane. Many troops found it extremely useful, and it destroyed many Iraqi tanks during their retreat on the Highway of Death. However, it was discontinued and continues to be slammed by top Army and Air Force officers due to several reasons. One, it primarily focuses on the human element, preventing the money from being sunk into useless technological gizmos and redistributing the money downwards. The first thing. The second thing, it's a relatively cheap plane, meaning that the military industrial complex gets less money. Third, it's not developed by Lockheed Martin, but instead by the company that backed the wrong horse during the recent elections, and therefore is less favored by lobbyists due to less campaign contributions. So, in conclusion, the F-35 has proven itself to be inferior to its predecessors and a really shitty plane compared to what China and Russia is producing, and and is extremely expensive. It's primarily based on corruption and campaign donations by Lockheed Martin instead of actual military need, and is a great way for the military complex to funnel money from useful things like schools and hospitals towards useless planes that will probably never be used like the F-35.